welcome back to my channel. As always, my name is Brittney. This is the Brittney Reacts Show, and today we are going over Blue Beetle. This is DC's newest movie. DC, as we all know, has been going through a lot of changes recently. James Gunn just came by and took everything over, and we're not sure if he's really doing a good job yet, but we'll see. But we do have Blue Beetle, at least. They're saying that this is supposed to be the first movie in the new DC universe, but I think that entirely depends on how well it does at the box office, so I wouldn't hold our breath for their sequel, even though, spoiler alert for my non-spoiler review, but I actually wouldn't mind a sequel, but we'll get to that. I do want to discuss, just the general malaise around DC first, and, why a lot of people really aren't interested in Blue Beetle, because I think that's really, really fascinating. But how are you guys doing? Hi, Aaron. Hi, Some Kids. Hi, Motion Going. Hi, Matt B. Trailers. Hi, Nicole. Hi, Cody. Hi, CD Woods. Hi, Elizabeth. Hi, Pretty Princess. Hi, the Blue Gecko Nerd. Hi, the Munchie Gnome. Hi, Rusty. Hi, Connor. Hi, Phoenix Hunter. Hi, everyone who's here. Alright, so I do want to get to my member question first, because my member question is actually all about this topic. I asked you guys, since a lot of people just don't seem to have a lot of interest in Blue Beetle, why do you think that is? Why do people not care to see this film? And do you think that the problem is DC? Is DC just beyond saving? And you guys had some pretty interesting comments here. Slackjaws2643 said, "This actually looks like a fun watch, but I think people need a superhero break. It's nice to see DC, who makes such serious films, take a crack at comedy. A jab at Marvel, perhaps? Can't wait to see what happens." Yeah, this movie was pretty funny. We'll get to the spoiler review or non-spoiler review in just a second. But I will say it was very humorous. It was a nice change of pace for DC. So I kind of hope they do continue in this vein, but I'll get to that. Nicholas Wilson says, "Blue Beetle is an older character that never really caught fire in the way that Batman and Superman did. We already know audiences are weary of superhero movies at this point. Add to that a character a lot of people don't even know, and it's just looking like they're scraping the barrel for characters." Yeah, definitely agree with that. Personally, I will always watch it because I'm old and a nerd, but I get why younger audiences don't care. I think at this point, if you're a superhero film, there's just so much options with superhero content. You really have to prove why you're worth watching at this point. You have to prove why you're worth seeing in the theater. You have to prove why it's worth just your time at all. I think the age of just anyone will go see a superhero film just because it's a superhero film is done for the most part. Frankie Wants a Snack says, "I would guess superhero fatigue plays a role." Yeah, I think that's a huge reason. Motion Going says, "Blue Beetle has a chance at breaking even at least, I think, if word of mouth goes out." We'll get to that. I think there's a chance that it will have good word of mouth. I actually did like the film. How much? We'll talk about in a second. But I do want to get to Jojo Rod's comment. Again, thank you for being a member, Jojo Rod. If anything, I kind of wish this released at a later time, or just delayed a bunch of other movies. To come out at a time like this, when I see too much superhero fatigue, really, when I so much superhero fatigue really hurts the movie. It kind of hurts me as Blue Beetle was the only Latina superhero I had to look up to growing up, other than Nacho Libre. Perhaps if this had been pushed back and they had put time and thought into this, it could have actually been a hit. Their target audience, and they actually could have hit their target audience and could have given them a chance to break and regroup, and use this as a first step towards building a better franchise. Wow, I could barely read that. But yeah, I get what you're saying. I definitely get what you're saying, Jojo Rod. And again, thank you for being a member. I think the movie is actually pretty great for Latino representation. I do hope it does better, at least for that reason. We'll see how the box office goes. I will update you guys what it does at the box office on Monday. So we'll see. Well, I'm very, very curious. I have to say, my theater was packed. I was surprised. My theater was full. I'm pretty sure it was sold out, so that's a good sign at least. But yeah, I think we need different kinds of superheroes. I think this is the right way to do representation, to do an original superhero that's Latino rather than like race swapping, as we've been saying. So I think this is a great way to do representation. I hope they continue, both not just DC, but also Disney and every other studio. I hope they really take this lesson and they continue doing representation this way. But thank you for becoming members. I just wanted to give those shout outs because as a member, you always will get a shout out in one of these live streams. So please, if you want to become a member, just click the join button at the bottom of the screen. Now, getting to the actual review, how many of you guys have seen this movie? I want to get an idea of how many of y'all have even seen this first before I get into this review. It will be non-spoilers, so don't worry, no spoilers, but I do want to know at least how many of you have seen it, because I'm curious. Blue Beetle. I'm just going to put yes or no, and that stands for have you seen it or not. Okay. Oh, Frankie Wants Snacks says haven't watched it. Natanya also says nope. Fodfreed also says haven't seen it. Maiden says no. ACP says no. Ellie says no. Lucy says no, but I want to. Okay. Nicole is just waiting for streaming. CD Wood says nope. Most of you, it's a no. Oh my god, 96% of you, it's a no. 96% of you are saying straight up, I'm not dealing with this. Not seeing this in theaters. I have no interest. Oh, that's awful. Only 4% of you have actually seen it. To be fair, it's only Friday, but it doesn't look like most of you even have plans to see this. So that's extra bad. Okay. Well, this movie's probably going to flop then. And we're probably never going to see a sequel. And I actually think that's a shame because I genuinely like this movie. I'm shocked. I'm shocked how much I liked this movie. Genuinely shocked. I told you guys I thought this was going to turn into a roast. I thought this was going to be like why this movie is just the most generic superhero movie ever, because honestly, that's what the trailers made this movie look like. But that's not what this is. I think that this movie actually is elevated beyond just super generic. And I don't think it's just mid either. I actually think it's pretty good. I was shocked. Anyone who has seen it actually think it's good, or who thinks it's terrible? I know there's only 4% of you, but I'm curious. Nicole says, I had no idea it even came out. Yeah, the marketing for this has not been good. I think the studio probably had like no faith in this film because I don't think they've been marketing this movie much at all. The Modern Designer says they need to hard reset the DCU. Yeah, they do need to hard reset, especially after how badly The Flash did. I don't understand why James Gunn is doing this partial reboot thing. I think it's just going to confuse normies who aren't keeping up with all this stuff, and even people who are keeping up with it are still confused. So I think it's a huge mistake and it makes no sense to me. High hidden name. Some person skywalking says, nah, I'm not planning to watch it, but if Brittney really enjoyed it, I might give it a chance. Well, let me tell you why I enjoyed it. Let's get into it. The main reason I really enjoyed this movie is actually because of the family. The familial storyline was just... If you guys saw Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, which I'm sure more of you have probably seen, the way that the Guardians are a family unit, and they actually care about each other and like want to protect each other, and like you actually care about what happens to them and if they live or die. This movie actually came pretty close to how good that movie was well written and how they portrayed that family in Guardians 3. What I'm trying to say is, this family is so well written. Like, we just got to meet them in this family. It's not like in this movie. It's not like we saw these characters in another movie before. This is the first time we saw any of these characters. But even in just this first movie, I felt so connected to them. I felt like I knew them. I felt like I really got to understand their family dynamics. I got to understand just why they care about each other. I got their struggles. I felt bad for them. I was rooting for them. Like, I never felt so connected to just a brand new family like this in a minute. Like, when I say in my TMNT review, if you guys watched that, why I gave it a 7 out of 10, because I just didn't feel like the movie never really moved me strongly in any one direction. This movie is the exact reason of what I was talking about. This movie, I felt all the emotions. I felt super sad. I felt super anxious. I felt like I was like on the edge of my seat at the end of the movie because I really wanted to root for this family and I wanted them to, beat the bad girl. Like I felt all the range of emotions. This is what I'm supposed to feel when I go to a movie, not just, oh, that was good. Oh, I was content. I was fine. And that's how I feel during like most movies now. So the fact that I was like actually like getting my heart pumping, just wanting to root for these people is like, wow, this movie is actually pretty well written. Can you imagine a well written script in 2023 for a major blockbuster? And it's a superhero film. I couldn't believe it. But yeah, this family was great. And I loved Zolo, the main actor here who plays Blue Beetle himself. He's a very personable, likable character and guy. He just kind of has that quality that makes you immediately like him. I thought he was very sweet. Again, I like how supportive his family was, even though they were kind of embarrassing at times. It was very, very sweet. Basically, I would say this movie is just like as syrupy sweet as you can get, but in like a good way. It hits you in all the positive feels. So much of like the movies that we get nowadays are just so cynical and dark and sad. This movie, it's like so hopeful, even though it does have darker moments. It's just the fact that they know they always have that family there to see them through all those tough times is just such an uplifting message. I think that's why it really hit home to me so hard. And I know this is a superhero film, and I should be talking about the action and all that, but the family storyline in this movie was the main thing that I loved so much about it. And I can't believe it came from DC. I would say this movie is even better than the first Shazam, and I actually liked the first Shazam, but this movie is even better than that one. That's how good I think this is. I don't think it's as good as like the first Wonder Woman. I still think for me, the first Wonder Woman is one of DC's best movies. But I'd say it's better than the first Shazam. So somewhere in between those two is where I'd put this film. Just to give you an idea of like just how much I liked it. All right, motion going. I convinced you to go see it. I'm glad. Fod Fareed says, can we even call 90% of superhero movies nowadays blockbusters? That's a fair point, because a lot of superhero films have been flopping, and it looks like this is going to be another one. So that's unfortunate for it, because honestly, after I saw the movie, I kind of was hoping that this would surprise and like do a little better than people are expecting, because I loved it so much I wouldn't mind a sequel. Screen Rant says the budget was 120 million. Well, I'm glad that's not like super, super crazy compared to a lot of other blockbusters, but that's still pretty steep. I think it's heading for like around 30 million for opening weekend. I don't know if 30 million is enough to make it break even, but we'll see. We'll talk about box office on Monday, like I said, but I just really liked the film. Moving on, one of the other things that I really liked about this film is that it talks about class. It really talks about the difference between the struggling family that Blue Beetle is in. Him and his family live in this small little house. Actually, it's not even that small, but, it's not an extravagant house. And they live in kind of a rough neighborhood, as you can see here. But then they always contrast it to the nice big mansions that, like, the 1% live in. And there's lots of commentary about class and how the little people and the common worker fit in society, and like how they even kind of talk a bit about how like the 1% and the common workers, like how their worlds are like so different they don't even see each other at this point. They really go there, and I wasn't expecting that, and I really appreciated it. They kind of touched on it in the trailers a bit, but they really expanded on it in the movie in a big way that I wasn't expecting. The motion going says, the budget is okay, but if word of mouth goes out like Puss in Boots 2, it has a chance at being a hit. I actually hope it does become like a Puss in Boots situation where word of mouth saves the film, or even like an Elemental situation where word of mouth saves the film. I think it's good enough that it could. And it also panders, and I'm saying that in a nice way, to the Hispanic community so hard. I can see the Hispanic community really rallying around this film. The audience I was with was loving this movie, and all the little references to all the little like cultural nods and stuff just got a huge laugh in my audience. So people got the references and everything. Um, but moving on, again, I think that Zolo is a huge star. I'm actually kind of upset that this movie isn't more officially in the new DCU because I would love to see him back in some capacity. I think he's a great actor. I've never seen him in anything before. This is my first time seeing him in anything. And I thought that he was very charismatic. I was very surprised. I thought in the trailers he kind of came across like he would just be kind of a boring stick in the mud sort of paint by numbers character. I'm so sorry that sounds very harsh, but I honestly thought he was just going to be kind of like a generic stand-in kind of character. But no, he had a lot of personality. He had a lot of humor. He was very funny. And he cared about his family a lot. So he made me care about a character that I thought just like 2 days ago I could not care less about. So honestly, props to him. Really, props to him. I did like a complete 180 on this film, largely because of his performance, but also, again, the script. I'm surprised by how good the script was. Never in any of these reviews do I ever say like, oh yeah, the script was good. No, the script was good. I was surprised. Nicholas says, if Gunn's keeping this for the reboot, he should be back, yeah. I hope so, but my concern is if this movie flops like it looks like it might, they won't. But if it does rally, and I hope it does, maybe he will stay in the new DC universe. Who knows? But I think he deserves a shot. I'm really rooting for him now. Moving on, just getting into the story of what it's about. Not getting into spoiler specifics, just giving you an idea of what the movie's even about. But it's about this character here. Sorry, I know his superhero name is Blue Beetle. I'm drawing a blank on what his actual human character name is. But he discovers this blue beetle scarab that gives him these powers. That's kind of really, really weird. It merges with his body and it takes over his mind. So that sometimes he can't even control what he does. And he's able to grow this kind of suit out of his body because this thing has become just so connected to his just DNA, which is really interesting. I've never seen the it kind of reminds me of Venom, actually, the way his suit just kind of grows on him. It's very interesting. But it's also he has like a voice in his ear that kind of tells him everything that he's doing and what he's supposed to be doing. If you've ever seen the movie Upgrade, it's very much like that. And I really thought that was kind of cool looking, actually. Some of the action scenes reminded me of Shang-Chi, too. There's lots of really, like, fast edits, but, like, you could still see everything very clearly. The action scenes are very clever, and they play into the uniqueness of his powers, so they don't seem generic. I thought the action sequences were very cool, and his suit just looks very interesting. Kasaki says, I don't think it'll flop. It might make little money back. Nothing too substantial. I hope it doesn't flop. We'll see. We'll see. It is like Venom, Fod Fareed. Cody, what was your question? I didn't see the question. Maybe if you post it again, I'll see it. I should watch Cobra Kai. Oh, right. I know he's in Cobra Kai. I haven't seen it yet. That's like one of those shows everyone tells me I should see. I just haven't seen it yet. It's on my list. Biscuit Consumer says, I saw Blue Beetle yesterday and it was surprisingly decent and lovable, right? I would definitely watch it again in IMAX before Gran Turismo replaces it in my country next week. Yeah, I would definitely go see it in theaters. This is a film I would say is good enough that it's worth seeing in theaters. I wouldn't even say just wait till streaming. I think if you have the time and you have a nice family and some kids, or even just like, I don't know, just a nice date night or whatever, this is just a nice film to watch in theaters and enjoy. It's just a sweet story. Even the superhero stuff aside, like, yeah, you have your typical superhero moments, but I wouldn't say, like, the superhero aspect of this film was the most important part of the movie. It wasn't even the focus. It was just kind of like the cherry on top, if you will. And I actually enjoyed that. I think that's what made this movie so fresh and stand out to me. Moving on. One of the other characters I was surprised I liked so much was this woman, who this is the only still of her I could find in the entire trailer. Because for some reason, she's not really in the marketing much, even though she's a huge, huge part of the movie. I really liked her character. She plays the typical, like, female role in all of these action movies. I don't know if you guys have picked up on this trope, but they always have this female side chick character now where she's just kind of like there to, I guess give the main male protagonist a lot of encouragement and, help them out in some way. They do this a lot in a lot of modern action movies. She plays that role. But for this movie, I actually feel like she took that role and elevated it. I actually cared about her. Usually that role, it's always like a thankless role that the woman character is like something you almost never remember from the movie because they're just so generic. I actually thought she took something out of this and made it her own. I actually think I will remember her character. I think she was, again, very personable, very likable. She's a great actress. She stood out. And I think for this kind of a role, that's actually impressive. Oh, Jojo Rod, I convinced you to get tickets. I'm so happy. Yay. I will be honest with you guys. If I don't like something, or if I just think it's mid and you can wait to watch it on streaming, I will tell you. I will tell you. But if I think it's actually worth your time, I think this movie is actually good. Thank you, Prince. Prince, you're always so great. You're a great moderator. Please make sure to like and subscribe. A lot of people who watch these live streams actually aren't subscribed. So please make sure you subscribe to never miss a live stream. I do a live stream every day at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you want to see my live stream on Monday where we update the box office on just how well it did or not did, so please make sure you subscribe so you don't miss it. Thank you so much. All right, moving on. Does anyone know what I mean, though, when I bring up that female side chick character trope that I'm seeing in, like, every action movie? Do you know what I'm talking about? Because, like, if you saw the movie Uncharted, they had one there. Even in the last Jurassic World Dominion movie, they had one there. The Mission Impossible movies usually have a few of them, but they usually write them really well, so I think they handle that trope well. Do you guys know what I'm talking about? Okay, yes, you guys know what I'm talking about. Good. Okay. I'm sorry to call them the side chick thing, but you know what I'm talking about. There's always that side chick character. It's true. Anyway, this chick. Oh my god. I hated her. She plays the villain. And she plays such a good villain. She plays the kind of villain that you just want to see, like, die in a murderous, fiery blaze. Like, if you saw Guardians of the Galaxy 3, you know how everyone hated the High Evolutionary because of how evil he was to all the characters and to Rocket's friends? That's how I started to feel about this woman. She's just evil for evil's sake. By the end, I'm not spoiling anything that happens since the vast majority of you have not seen this movie. But she's evil. And I think I think that's, again, probably one of the reasons why I liked this movie, is because I actually feel like she could pose danger to the family and to the people that we care about. So it had me rooting for everyone at the end because I was like, oh no, I want them to get away from this evil lady. So, I mean, props to her because she made me hate her so much. Oh, we had another super chat from the Modern Designer. Thank you so much. You're always so generous. Thank you, the Modern Designer. Sorry, I cannot speak today. What is going on? Loving this long-form review style video, Brittney. Okay, I'm glad that you like this long-form review style. I appreciate it. Thank you for the super chat, as always. Yes, Susan Sarandon is literally... She's an incredible actress. I mean, she was really good in this. She's good in everything that she's in, but she just made me hate her so much, like in a good way, that just props to her. Because without making me hate her as much as I did, I don't think the ending would have had as much impact as it had. So she was a huge part of why the movie worked, so props to her. She's the Umbridge of the DCEU. Yes, that's very true. That's very true. Yeah, she's very good in this. Pure evil. Am I hitting the microphone? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm gonna stop doing that. I'm not spoiling anything. I'm just telling you she's the villain. That's all I've spoiled for you, and you could know that just from the trailer. All right, moving on. Yeah, another character that I really, really loved was the sister. She surprised me. Again, she's another character I've never seen in anything before, so this is the first time that I've seen a lot of these actors, actually. I think this might have been just. I don't know if this is a lot of these actors' first time being in a movie, or if they're just not like. They just casted a lot of not well known actors, but she was also very good. She's a fantastic actress, actually. She made me. She might have actually been my favorite character in this movie. She could have just been another side character, just the sister character that, the main character has to take care of. She could have just filled that trope, that role fine, but no, she had such a bubbly, lively personality, such like screen presence. Like I really appreciated her. And again, at the emotional climax of the movie, she just really delivers it with a gut punch. Like everyone really brought their A game. Like for just another generic superhero film, I feel like no one was really like calling it in with the acting. Like everyone was giving their A game when it came to their performances. So I was impressed. I was really impressed. Tina Marie says this photo was hilarious for some reason. I'm sorry if this is hilarious. I was just trying to get still photos from the trailer. Prince says, I'm happy that they cast not famous actors. Yeah, yeah. I am selling this movie. I'm happy they cast not famous actors as well. It let me just, I guess, connect to the characters more because I wasn't thinking about, oh, there's that famous person. Except there was a few famous people. Like there was George Lopez, for example, who I was watching this and I was like, oh, that's George Lopez. But he was so good in this movie too. He was fantastic in this. I was very impressed. Again, not phoning it in, nothing. Everyone fully committed to this movie 100%. And I was impressed. I was very impressed. He plays like one of the comedic side characters. Yeah, he's a side character, but he has a lot of really funny lines in this, as you would expect. I can't say enough good things. I think they're all just really good. He was another highlight of the film. Thought he was great. Natanya Mulling says movies need to start casting new actors. I fully agree. I kind of like how this movie was a mix. Like you have Susan Sarandon, you have George Lopez. Who else was in this? That's big. I think those were the two biggest names, unless I'm drawing a blank. But then the rest were pretty much no names. Like the rest, no one, you wouldn't really recognize. I think that's a good mix. I think that should be what studios do more of, so we can just find new names. Because there's so many new people in this movie. I'm like, oh, I would love to see you in something else or that I haven't seen before. That's what I said, Nicholas. Susan Sarandon and George Lopez are the only two like big names in this, but the rest are pretty much no names. All right, moving on. And then you have Zola, who's known from Cobra Kai. That's true as well. I know Cobra Kai is a big hit, but I wouldn't say Zola was on the same level as like George Lopez or Susan Sarandon though. To be fair, I still think he's like not quite on that level yet. But maybe he could be after this movie. Again, the action scenes were very cool. They show in the trailer, there's this one scene where he splits open a bus. Like I said, it kind of reminded me of Shang-Chi a bit, just because of the action scenes and how they were shot. Very, very cool. Don't want to spoil how any of it happens, but just very, very unique stuff here. And again, just the conversations, how they talk. The script is so good. They talked like naturalistic human people. Like none of it felt forced. None of it felt corny. It all just felt like these were real people you can meet in real life. And I really respected that. I was, again, highly impressed. The main reason I would say to see this movie, yeah, it's a superhero film. If you like superhero films, you probably will like this because it's a good one. But also, if you have a family, I think this will particularly hit you harder. If you're close with your family, I think this will just hit home with you. If you are in the Latino community, I think you might identify with this movie quite strongly because they definitely pander quite heavily to that audience. And I mean that in a positive way. Again, I can't say enough positive things. Overall, I'm about to give my rating. I would give this movie, honestly, I'd give it an 8 out of 10. The same rating I gave Barbie. That's how much I liked this movie. I still liked Barbie more, but it's just quality-wise, I'd say it's very, very good. It's very strong. I'm so surprised. You can't I couldn't be more surprised, to be honest. I really thought I was going to come on here and I was going to be like, oh, guys, look at this movie that DC's doing now. Look at what they're doing now. I just thought it was going to be another rant fest about how DC made another terrible movie. I really thought that's what this was going to be. But it's not how I felt, so I had to be honest. It is a high rating, yeah. It is a high rating. I am not on Letterboxd, the modern designer. I should be. I don't know why I'm not. I should be. Prince says this movie could do better, but due to strikes in DC, it unfortunately is going to be a mid-hit. I think at most he can hope for is to be a mid-hit, but if it's a hit at all, even a small one, I think they'll take that as a win. So I don't think they'd be complaining if they if they make money off of this film at all. I think they'll consider this a movie a hit. So maybe he will come back. Who knows? I don't know. I'll be surprised, but if he does, I'll be happy about it. All right. Do you guys have any questions about the movie? That is the end of my non-spoiler review. Do you guys have any direct questions about what happens in the film? I won't give any spoilers, but maybe I can answer some questions you might have had about it. Let's actually go to the main shot. Any questions about Blue Beetle? Oh, you have to leave. I'm sorry, Lucy. I'll see you on Monday, though. Prince, I would say it is probably the best DC movie in a while. I would say this is probably the best DC movie since... Oh, you guys are probably not gonna like this, because I'm one of the few people who really didn't like the Suicide Squad. Even though I like some of James Gunn's movies, obviously I liked Guardians 3, I really didn't care for the Suicide Squad. I didn't care for The Flash. I've only seen parts of it, but I'm just not into it. I didn't see the Shazam movie. So yeah, I would say this is probably the best DC movie that I've enjoyed since The Joker. Yeah. So that was a while ago. Hades says, yeah, if they don't lose money on this, it's a win. They were going to just drop it on streaming. That's true. This was supposed to go on streaming. Even if it just makes its budget back, if it makes 100 million, good enough. Yeah. I think, honestly, I think the expectations for this movie were so low and on the floor that I think if this movie even surprises and becomes a modest hit at all, I think it'll surprise everyone and they'll just consider it a hit regardless. Because, I think people pretty much wrote this film off, months ago. The soundtrack. Oh, yes, Arvin, the soundtrack. How did I forget? The music was incredible. I actually need to go back and listen to the music because the theme? Blue Beetle's theme? Y'all. I would say Blue Beetle's theme might be the best DC theme since Wonder Woman's theme. I really like Blue Beetle's theme. It had me hyped every time it played. The music is really good. Oh, Nicholas doesn't like Joker's DCEU. Interesting. Wait, do you mean the one with Joaquin Phoenix? Which Joker do you mean? Because at this point you have to specify. Yeah, Dixie agrees his theme was so good. Yes, it was. The Blue Gecko Nerd says Aquaman is a good film too. You guys should go watch it. It's awesome. Another one of DC's best movies. Yeah, I did see the Aquaman movie. In fact, I was at the Aquaman premiere. I didn't even mean to go to the Aquaman premiere. It was an accident. I stumbled upon it. I was actually in LA for the first time on vacation with my friend. And we stumbled upon the Aquaman premiere because it just happened to be going on at the time. And I met Jason Momoa. So that was a fun night. So yeah, I have seen Aquaman. It was just a random night. But it was fun. All right, bye, Elijah. I would say for the remainder of the live stream, it'll be Q&A. You can keep the comments and questions mostly on Blue Beetle, but you can ask ask me about anything. There is no news to talk about. I checked. I wanted to see if I could just find something else to talk about other than just Blue Beetle, because I figured most of you probably hadn't seen it. But there was like no news, so this stream was just basically going to be my Blue Beetle review and then a Q&A. So now this is the Q&A section. Kid Loren says, the theme reminds me of Stranger Things. Yes, it reminded me of that too, with the synth, but also refreshing and new. Yes, we are on the same mind, kid. I was thinking Stranger Things as well. You know what also was reminding me of Stranger Things? The new TMNT score as well. It also had that vibe. What film is a 10 for you? Oh, that's a good question, CD Woods. What film is a 10? Titanic. I love that movie. That movie's a 10. Yes. That's my favorite movie of all time, so if you can be anywhere close to that, that would be incredible. Cameos? Well, I don't want to spoil anything, so I can't, you guys can look up cameos and that kind of stuff on another stream. Fod Fareed says, Coraline and Titanic for Brittney. Yes, those are two of my favorite films. I love those movies. Paul, you also saw Blue Beetle. You liked it. I'm glad. I'm glad Maiden also likes Titanic. I think it's brilliant as well. What's my favorite genre? Says the modern designer. My favorite genre. I like sci-fi. I like musicals. I like epics. I like romance when it's done well. Those are my favorites. I would say my least favorites. I don't care for mysteries, which I know is like surprising to a lot of people. I don't care for like noir. I don't care for the kind of person I am. I don't even like cop procedurals on TV. Like I've never even liked that sort of genre in television. So that's just not the kind of stuff I gravitate towards. Like I'm not into mob stuff. I'm not even into like crime. None of that interests me. Oh, Dixie, you've never seen Titanic. Oh no. Oh no, I love Titanic. It's great. Who's your favorite villain? Says Prince. My favorite villain. That's a hard one. There's a lot of villains out there. I don't know. Can I say the first one that comes to mind, and some of you guys, you're probably not even going to know who this is, but you're going to be like, why this one? But the guy, the Duke guy from Moulin Rouge. I just think he's hilarious, but also kind of a fun villain. I really like him. He's funny to me. I know that's a random poll, but yeah. Rusty says, crime docuseries makes me cringe. Okay, you get it. I feel like everyone's like, oh, I love me a good crime docuseries. And I'm just like, I've never been into them. I don't know. It's not even that I find them cringe. I just think that, I don't know, it's just so macabre. I guess I don't like focusing on the macabre. I don't even like Halloween that much, so I guess that's probably part of it. Okay, you guys understand who I'm talking about from Moulin Rouge. Okay, I'm glad you understand, or at least some of you do. Michael, Kin, I hope I said that right. Thank you so much for the super chat. Do you think that Blue Beetle will end up on the new Justice League roster, or do you think they'll make him a Titan? I think it entirely depends on how well this movie does at the box office. That's why I'm really curious to see how it does long term. Because right now, I think if it flops, I don't think we'll ever see him again. But if it actually does manage to be a surprise hit, then maybe. I don't know if he'll be on the Justice League, but maybe we'll see him team up with James Gunn's Superman or something. I could possibly see that. I don't think they're planning on anything too huge at the moment. I don't think DC even has the money for that. So I wouldn't be thinking about Justice League right now, because I highly doubt we're seeing a Justice League anytime soon. But thank you for the super chat. Oh no, Fod, this is my last stream in a while because of school on Monday. Well, enjoy school, Fod. Maiden says, what book would you like to see done as a film if it's done well? Well, they've already made a movie based off of this book, but the book that I really, really love is called The Other Boleyn Girl. Again, they've made a movie off of it, but I feel like they could have done better. I really feel like they didn't do the book justice, and the book is huge. It's freaking massive. It's like a freaking brick, but I read the whole thing. And it's really, really good, and I think like a huge sweeping epic based off of it would be cool. But we'll see. I don't think we're ever gonna get that, but that would be what I would want to see. Jordan Davis says, yeah, do you have a top 10 with movies in 2023? I am going to give my top 10 for 2023. It's just going to be at the end of the year. I haven't seen all the movies yet, so let me see all the movies I need to see for 2023, and then I'll give you my top 10. That'll be a whole live stream. I'll be looking forward to that one. I did see Matt Pat's video about Disney. I was thinking about reacting to it. I might do that next week in one of my live streams. Would you guys want to see that? The Blue Gecko Nerd says, Brittney, if you did a commentary on the movie Holes, would you watch it alongside me? Why would I do a commentary on the movie Holes? Why do I feel like I've been seeing the movie Holes come up so much recently? Not even just on the chat, but on social media. That movie is so old now. I really do like it. That was like, I would say Holes is like one of my core childhood movies at this point, but it is random how it's like, kind of getting this weird resurgence at the moment, but I think it's a really good movie. It is a good movie, especially for it being a kids movie. It's pretty deep. The Modern Designer says, did you not enjoy the Batman? I liked it. It wasn't bad. It's just not like I don't gravitate towards noir detective stuff, as I've said. So that's just not like in my wheelhouse, but I did think it was like a well-made movie. CCG says you should do commentary on older movies like Titanic, Coraline, and Holes. Maybe I might have to start doing that because, like, with these strikes and everything, there's not a whole lot else to talk about. Some news days, I'm just like, oh my god, what am I going to talk about? Maybe I'll have like a section at the end of my live stream where I'm like, okay, let's talk about this old movie or something. Would you guys want that? Would you consider doing a live movie reaction? I would love to do that, but legally I cannot do that. Because that would be copyright and theft and my channel would get taken down. So, unfortunately, I can't. I wish we could just kill copyright. I think that would lead to just so many great things for artists, but we can't do that. So you guys would like to see that. Okay, I can do that. Samantha says, as a non-union actor, something interesting about the strikes is I'm not allowed to audition or work in union projects or else I'll be blacklisted from joining. Strike affects actors outside of SAG too. Yeah, I mean, it affects everyone. It's really just affecting the entire entertainment industry. It's not good, like, what's happening, but it has to happen because if they don't strike, literally their jobs are in jeopardy, like actual jeopardy because of AI. So it's either now or never. I know it sucks for everyone, but I really do think the strikes are important. I'm sorry to hear that, Samantha. Holes had a reunion recently. Is that why I've been hearing about Holes so much? Okay, that could be it. Was Shia LaBeouf there? That'd be interesting. Dalton Alexander says they probably don't have plans to go big, but they could and build up these heroes in the process, making them the new classics, and eventually part of the modern Justice League. Eventually is the key word there, though. I don't think we're getting a Justice League movie for like 10 years. I'm being dead serious. I'm sorry. Didn't James Gunn like announce his whole slate for DC and it was just a whole bunch of stuff no one has heard of unless you were a huge comic book geek? And all of that stuff is going to take several years to make before they even get to a Justice League movie. I don't know. I'm really, really nervous about this DC universe. I just don't see it. The only hope that new DC universe has is if James Gunn makes the best Superman movie that has ever been made. That is really the bar. That is the bar. James Gunn has to make the best Superman film that has ever Supermaned, because that is what DC is gonna need in order to save itself. Shia seems more calm. He has seemed to have calmed down quite a bit. I don't see or hear about him in the news anymore, so there's that. Oh, Real David Jones says, I hope we get a Justice League movie in 2028 or 2029. Maybe. I was actually just thinking about when we would get Secret Wars. And I was thinking that might not be possible until like 2030. So, yeah, I think a lot of these movies a lot of people are looking forward to are probably not coming anytime soon. I did stick around for the post-credit scene. I won't spoil what it is, though. CCG says, look what Gunn did with Guardians of the Galaxy. It's going to be amazing. That's the only reason why I have any hope for DC at all, is because Guardians 3 was so good. Because the Superman film that he's working on has to be as good as Superman Legacy, has to be as good as Guardians 3 or better. I really think that's the bar it has to clear. And that's a high bar. So, we'll see. Yeah, they are in trouble. Paul says Secret Wars won't be till 2027. Yeah, I think it's going to be 2027 at the earliest, for sure. I think it even could go later than that, potentially. Or there's a very, very real possibility. I saw a YouTuber mention this, and I thought it was crazy at first, but the more that I'm, like, covering this AI stuff, the more I'm thinking it's potentially possible. By the time they even get to Secret Wars, like, half of it might be made with AI anyway, so that could speed up how long it takes to make the film. So, who knows? We'll see. What happened to the Avatar The Last Airbender review? It got copyrighted, and I took it down because at that point, it's really frustrating and annoying, and I'm sorry that I'd had to take it down, but I hope you at least got to see it. Neo says, I have not seen this movie yet. Well, maybe you should see it. Is anyone who is going to see it now because of my review? I know a couple of you said that you're going to see it. Maybe I should do a new poll. I'm going to do a new poll. All right. Who's seeing Blue Beetle now? Did anyone change their mind? I'm going to say, did you change your mind? I'm going to say yes, going to theaters. No, still not interested. And then yes, but I'm still going to wait till streaming. But streaming. All right, asking now. CD Woods is waiting till streaming. Okay. Jojo Rod says they couldn't handle your savagery. I am pretty savage. I don't even try to be savage. It's just I'm very bluntly honest. And sometimes I guess that comes across as savage. Nicholas says, if someone takes me, I could go. God. Nicholas would only go if someone dragged them. Dang. Not even after my glowing review. You're still like, no, I can't. The Modern Designer, thank you so much for the super chat. Really appreciate it. You're always so kind, really. You should do live videos ranking different movies. I've been thinking about doing a live ranking video. In fact, I found a tier list on the official tier list website that has like a bunch of franchises on it, and I was thinking of doing a live stream where we rank all the modern franchises according to relevancy. That could be interesting. So I might do some stuff like that. So I am experimenting with it. We'll see. But you'll see some different stuff possibly next week. Thank you for the super chat. Okay, going to the poll. Sorry, I misspelled the question. 45% of you said yes, I did change your mind, but you're still gonna watch it on streaming, which is fair. That's like almost half of you though, so I changed a fair bit of you, fair bit of your minds. 35% of you says, yes, I did change your mind, and you're going to theaters to see it. Wow! 36% now. Holy crap, 36%. So that's, altogether, that's like 80% of you, I changed your mind. 80%. Wow. I'm impressed. I really hope you guys like the movie. Please let me know if you like the movie. 21% of you are still like, no, I don't care. I don't want to see this movie. That's totally fair. But 80% of you changed your mind. That's a lot. I'm very, very impressed. Cool. Um, so what was it that changed your mind? What was it that made you go, okay, I'll finally see it? I'm very curious. I am changing hearts. Oh, I just made it sound good, says Laura. Okay. Mr. Pink says you upgraded my answer from no to yes, but in streaming. Oh, that's good. That's progress. Good. Jao Pedro says still I would only go if someone wanted me to. So you're still only gonna go if you get dragged to it, which is fair. The family aspect, yeah, I would say the family aspect is the biggest like positive of the movie. If that's why you're going, you're gonna love the film. Yes, the nuanced characters. Oh, that's probably what surprised me the most. Is just how well the characters were written. Again, I feel like so many times I go to the movies now and I'm like, this sucks. The writing sucks. Why is the writing like this? Do people know how to write screenplays anymore? And then I go and see something like this and I'm like, oh yeah, good writing still exists. It can happen. Oh, my 8 out of 10 convinced you. Okay, okay. CCG still says if people want to go with me. That's fair. Yeah, the script was good. Okay, so the script being good is what convinced you. Cool. Maiden says, what changed my mind was you literally debunking everything I said on the membership question. Okay, so debunking your points. LP Harris says, I'm more likely to watch. I do think the superhero fatigue is mostly due to redundant or not fully fleshed out storylines. Yeah, I mean, I would say that the reason why I don't think that this movie is as generic as they made it seem in the trailers is because there is a number of twists involved that I think keeps the story interesting. Not going to spoil what it is, but I'm going to let you find out for yourself. But I think that the movie does a good job of keeping you guessing of like where it's going. And it makes you, again, really want to root for everyone by the end of it. Okay, Paul says, I'm not 100% on the villain's writing. Me too, but I just liked that she was just so evil that I was just like, yes, I love a good evil villain. Yes, I did help with the good word of mouth. I hope I'm sharing the good word. Oh, you trust my judgment. Oh, thank you, João Pedro. I appreciate that. Real David Jones says, I was afraid that it was going to be like Shazam, plus I am not superhero fatigued. I just got tired of bad movies, especially Thor 4. It's nowhere near as bad as Thor 4. Nowhere close. Again, I would put this above Shazam 1, below Wonder Woman 1. That's where I put it. Okay, João Pedro says, do you know the Lack of Phasey series? They're announcing their first season on YouTube. No, I don't. When is that? I know you guys, sometimes you suggest I react to stuff, but I have, sometimes like with copyright, I can't always react to things, so I'm sorry about that. It is fun. So now you guys can ask me about anything. Doesn't have to be about just Blue Beetle. For about the next 6 minutes, just so we make this stream an hour. And then that'll be it. That'll be it for today. And I'll see you guys on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, as always. And I'll update you guys on how well it did at the box office. So hopefully it did well. We'll see if it did or didn't. We'll discuss, plus other things. I'm sure there'll be other news to talk about as well, not just Blue Beetle. But yes, again, subscribe to the channel if you haven't subscribed already to make sure you never miss a single live stream. Please like this video so more people can find it later on the replay. And I'll answer just a few more questions. Are you excited for the Dracula ship movie coming out? Are you talking about The Last Voyage to Demeter? Is that the movie you're talking about? I watched the trailer for it. I don't know. I feel like I can tell just based off of a trailer if I'm gonna like a movie or not. Like, I'm very, very good with that. And I could just tell from the trailer I was probably not gonna like it. It looked like it was going to be very slow and not good at all. So, probably not, unfortunately. Oh, CCG, thoughts on Coraline's resurgence in theaters. I tried to see it here myself, but I couldn't find tickets. I really want to see Coraline again in theaters. I'm glad that there's still so much interest in it years later. I really think if they made a Coraline 2 and they brought that back, I genuinely think they would be surprised by how much of a hit it would be. I think that movie has become such a cult classic for a lot of people. I think it would genuinely be a big hit. Okay, Paul says it was okay. Yeah, I heard the last... I'm not surprised that the movie was just okay. The trailer kind of made it look just okay to me. Yeah, we talked about the Blind Side drama, Michael, a couple of streams ago. I always leave my streams up on my channel so you can watch them on the replay. So if you want to hear my thoughts on the Blind Side drama, just check out the live stream I did a couple of days ago. Which is worse, Love and Thunder or The Dark World? I actually think Thor Love and Thunder is worse, just because I found the humor to be so annoying and so grating. It was like nothing but an SNL sketch. Just constant SNL sketch after SNL sketch. It was like not even the actors could take what they were doing seriously. But they were dealing with like real serious topics such as cancer. So it was like very, very bizarre. I thought nothing about that movie worked. I think Taika Waititi was on all sorts of substances when he made that movie, and I think it blew up in his face. I like Taika, but man, that movie was not good. Paul said Coraline would be live action if they brought it back. We've talked about this. Do you really want to see a live action Coraline, though? I feel like that would be X-rated. Like, do you want to see like a human child with buttons for eyes and like sewed up lips? Like, do we really want to see that? I mean, I would still go see it for sure, but yeah, that would have to be at least R-rated. That would be a very dark movie. Yeah, no live action Coraline. I think it's good as a stop motion movie. Ethereal Dragon says MCU is suffering from too much random humor. Yeah, I think they are trying to dial back the humor. I think that's why Secret Invasion was so dry. But I think they overdid it and overcorrected and they made Secret Invasion so dry, they made it boring. So, yeah, I think Marvel's in a very weird place that they've never been in because they're kind of on the decline and everyone can see it. Because it's very obvious. And I don't think they know how to react to it. And I don't think they're reacting well. Wait, so some of you guys do want to see the live action Coraline? Oh, that would be sick. That would just be really sick. Emma Myers as Coraline. Why are y'all casting this? No. I would rather a Coraline 2 as the original, with the original stop motion animation than I would a live action Coraline. Please just give me a sequel. I am gonna watch Five Nights at Freddy's Maiden, so I will do a live discussion for that movie as well. LP Harris says, I hope all the interest in that Scooby-Doo stop action, live action brings that stuff back. I really love stop motion. I think stop motion is a beautiful format. Every stop motion movie I've seen, I compulsively, once the movie is over, I have to go and find like the how they did it video, because there's always like a behind the scenes video for stop motion movies on like how they made the movie, just because I'm always so fascinated by how they moved the puppets and how they like constructed the sets and all of that. Like the last one I watched was the Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio movie. And then I watched the making of that, and I was just so fascinated by it. I was just like, how they make these movies is so interesting to me. Jenna Ortega as an older Coraline who goes to college. Does Jenna Ortega really want to be typecast as the gloomy goth girl? I don't know. Because she's already doing the Beetlejuice thing too, and then she already has Wednesday. Does she really just want to play the goth girl all the time? It is a beautiful art form. All right, I'll take one more question, and that'll be it for today, and then I'll see you guys on Monday. Oh, Rusty says, unpopular opinion, but the Scooby-Doo AI was wild good. Yes, I haven't watched it. I haven't watched it at all. Um, but I was very surprised and honestly kind of impressed by just how good the voice acting was. That's what impressed me. Just because I was like, I didn't think we'd be getting to that point with AI so soon. So that was very, very surprising. I didn't watch the whole thing, just enough to hear the voices, and I was like, wow, I can't believe we're already at this point. All right, but that was the last thing. Thank you so much for everyone for coming to these live streams. I appreciate everyone who shows up every day. I really appreciate it. You guys are so kind. And I'll see you guys on Monday. Bye. In stream.